So let's begin with the table of contents, what we are heading towards in this lecture. So the first is understanding inflation, deflation and stagflation, devaluation and economic growth, monetary standards. So we'll discuss about these topics in this lecture. So the first one is inflation. So we are beginning with the inflation. Inflation is a key economic concept that refers to the increase in the general price level of goods and services in an economy over a period of time. So now moving toward the definition of inflation. So we are defining the inflation here in the points. So first of all, it is the rise in the cost of necessities. This means that the prices of basic goods and services such as food, clothing, and housing increase. When these essential items cost more, it affects the purchasing power of consumers, meaning they can buy less with the same amount of money. Second is average price change in a basket of goods, services over time. Inflation is often measured by tracking the price change of a specific set of goods and services known as basket. These basket includes various items that are commonly consumed by households, such as groceries, transportation, and healthcare. By observing how the prices of these items change over time, economists can calculate the rate of inflation. So now let's see how the inflation compute or the computation of inflation. In India, the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation is responsible for calculating and reporting inflation. They collect data on the prices of goods and services in different regions and analyze this data to determine the average price changes. This helps in understanding how the cost of living is changing for the average person. Now, inflation is of different types. There are different types of inflations we'll learn about in this chapter or in this lecture, such as demand pull inflation, which can be caused by high demand for goods and services, cost push inflation, which is caused by an increase in the cost of production, and built-in inflation resulting from adaptive expectations. And there are many more types of inflation which we will discuss about later on in this lecture. And impact on economy. How the inflation impact economy of a certain country. Inflation affects various aspects of the economy, including purchasing power, savings, investments, and interest rates. Moderate inflation is normal in a growing economy. But high inflation can erode the value of money and savings. So now we'll delve into these aspects more now. The first one is how the inflation impact the purchasing power. So what is purchasing power? Purchasing power refers to the amount of goods and services that a unit of currency can buy. How inflation impact this purchasing power? Let's discuss about this. So, when inflation occurs, the prices of goods and services rise, as we have already discussed it in the meaning of the inflation. So, which in turn, the result is each unit of currency buys fewer goods and services as compared to before. For example, like let's take an example of a very small thing, which is say sugar. In the previous time, a sugar is 50 per kg. Let's assume here. So the last year, a person is purchasing 1 kg of sugar in 50 rupees. But because of inflation, the sugar prices rise and it becomes 60 per kg. These are assumptions. I'm not telling you the actual price of the sugar here. So let's assume this. When the price goes to 60 per kg, a person who was purchasing 1 kg of sugar in 50 rupees is now not able to purchase the same quantity of sugar in the same money. So if a person has only 50 rupees in his pocket, then he is not able to purchase 1 kg of sugar because of the inflation. So this reduction in purchasing power means that consumer need more money to maintain the same standard of living. So next is savings. How savings affected by the inflation. First of all, we learn about what saving is. Savings are the portion of income that is not spent for consumption. How does it impacted by the inflation? So, inflation erodes the value of money saved over time. If the inflation rate is higher than the interest rate earned on savings, the real value, purchasing power, which is of the savings decrease. For instance, if you have $1,000 in a saving account, earning 2% interest annually, but inflation is 3%, then the real value of your saving is effectively decreasing by 1% each year, because the interest on your saving is less than the interest rate of your saving is less than the rate of inflation. So a person needs to think about it or take care of saving amount or the investing amount as where to invest to cope up with the inflation or to save the money from decreasing its value. Now, let's come to the investments. What investments are? We have talked about the savings previously. Now it comes to investment. Investments are assets or items acquired with the goal of generating income or appreciation. So, if we talk about the difference between investment and saving is saving is when you are let your money out from your expense or consumption, or you are not consuming a certain portion of your income and let it be in the bank account or your home is your savings. But investment is when you invest your saved money or your money to acquire some asset. It can be land, it can be any machinery, it can be a home, it can be a gold or anything. And nowadays, investment also includes investing your monies in stocks, share markets, bonds, mutual funds, SIPs. These are also investment because they are generating income or more money over your saved money. Now let's discuss about the impact of inflation on investments. So first is stock market. Moderate inflation can be positive for the stock market as companies increase prices and revenues. However, high inflation can lead to uncertainty and decreased investment returns. Bonds. Inflation negatively impacts bondholders because the fixed interest payments they receive lost value in real terms. Real estate can serve as a hedge against inflation as property values and rental income tend to increase with inflation. However, higher inflation can also lead to higher interest rates, making mortgages more expensive than before. Now, we'll talk about how inflation impacts or affects the interest rates. So, what interest rates are? Interest rates are the cost of borrowing money, typically expressed as a percentage of the principal. Now, the effect of inflation on the interest rates. Central bank, like the Reserve Bank of India, use interest rate to control inflation. When inflation is high, central banks may raise interest rates to reduce spending and borrowing, thereby cooling down the economy. Conversely, when inflation is low, they may lower interest rate to stimulate spending and investing or to increase the flow of money in the market. High interest rates make borrowing more expensive and can slow economic growth as it can reduce the flow of money in the market. Whereas low interest rates encourage borrowing and spending, which leads to high economic growth as it increases the flow of money in the market. Now we'll discuss about what moderate and high inflation, the difference between the moderate and high inflation. So moderate inflation, typically seen as a sign of a healthy, growing economy. It encourages spending and investing. As people expect price to rise in the future, central banks often target a moderate inflation rate, which is around 2 to 3% to ensure economic stability. Now come to the high inflation. So moderate inflation rates are 2 to 3%. High inflation. When inflation is too high, which means the rates are higher than 4 or 5%. It can lead to hyperinflation, where prices rise uncontrollably. This erodes the value of money rapidly, leading to a loss of confidence in the currency, reduced savings, and overall economic instability. People may rush to spend money quickly before it loses more value, leading to further inflationary pressure. Inflation is a double-edged sword. While moderate inflation can indicate a healthy economy and encourage growth, high inflation can undermine economic stability by reducing purchasing power. Due to the impact of inflation on so many things as investment, savings, and all, policymakers aim to balance these effects to maintain economic stability and growth. Now we learn about the measurement tools of inflation. How one can measure the inflation. Common tools for measuring inflation include the Consumer Price Index and Wholesale Price Index. The CPI measures changes in the price level of a basket of consumer goods and services purchased by households, while the Wholesale Price Index measures changes at the wholesale level. So let's dive into the Consumer Price Index. Consumer Price Index measures the average change over time in the prices paid by consumers for a basket of goods and services. This basket represents the typical items purchased by households and includes categories such as food, clothing, housing, transportation, healthcare, and entertainment. So now let's discuss about how consumer price index is calculated. First of all, selection of a basket. A representative basket of goods and services is selected based on household consumption patterns. This basket is designed to reflect the spending habits of the average consumer. Second is the price collection. Prices for the items in the basket are collected regularly from various retail outlets, service providers, and other relevant sources across different regions. The third is weight. Each item in the basket is assigned a weight based on its relative importance in the total expenditure of households. For example, if households spend more on housing than on entertainment, housing will have a higher weight. Now, the fourth is index calculation. The prices are then compared to a base year, and the weight average of these prices is calculated to form the CPI. This index is usually expressed relative to a base year, which is set at an index value of 100. Changes in the index indicate the percentage change in the price level since the base year. Now, what are the significances of consumer price index? First is cost of living. The CPI is often used as a measure of the cost of living, indicating how much more or less consumers need to spend to maintain the same standard of living. Inflation target. Policymakers and central banks like Reserve Bank of India use consumer price index data to set inflation targets and adjust monetary policy accordingly, adjusting salaries and benefits. The consumer price index is used to adjust wages, pensions, and other benefits to keep up with inflation, ensuring that purchasing power is maintained. Now, we are coming toward the second measurement tool of inflation, which is WPI, the Wholesale Price Index. The Wholesale Price Index measures the average change in the price of goods at the wholesale level, the prices at which goods are sold in bulk by wholesalers to retailers, industries, and other large scale buyers. The wholesale price index does not include services and focuses primarily on goods traded within businesses. Now, we are coming towards how wholesale price index is calculated. First is same as consumer price index, which is the selection of goods. A set of goods is selected that are typically traded in the wholesale market. This selection includes primary articles like agricultural products, fuel, power, and manufactured goods. The second is price collection. Prices are collected from wholesale markets, manufacturers, and other bulk sellers. This collection is done at regular intervals to track price changes. Now comes the weight. Similar to the consumer price index, each category of goods in the wholesale price index has a weight assigned to it based on its share in total wholesale trade. Now, the last, index calculation. The collected prices are compared to a base year and a weighted average is calculated to form the wholesale price index. This index is expressed relative to the base year, similar to the consumer price index. Now, talking about the significance of wholesale price index. Inflation trend. Wholesale price index provides a broad measure of inflation at the wholesale level, which can indicate price trends before they reach the retail market. Economic analysis. It helps in understanding inflationary trends in different sectors of the economy, especially manufacturing and agriculture. Now, the third significance of wholesale price index is in policy making. Government and policymakers use wholesale price index data to make decisions on trade, fiscal policies, and interventions to control inflation. Now, let's see the comparison between the consumer price index and wholesale price index. If we talk about the scope, consumer price index includes a wide range of consumer goods and services, while the wholesale price index focuses on goods at the wholesale level. And use CPI, which means Consumer Price Index, reflects the price changes experienced by consumers, whereas Wholesale Price Index reflects the price changes faced by businessmen and the manufacturers. If we talk about the services, Consumer Price Index includes services, while Wholesale Price Index generally does not include services directly to the consumer. If we talk about now frequency and detail, Consumer Price Index data can provide more detailed and frequent updates on consumer inflation, while Wholesale Price Index provides a broader view of wholesale price changes. Both Consumer Price Index and Wholesale Price Index are essential tools for measuring inflation, each serving different purposes and audiences. CPI is more relevant for understanding the cost of living and consumer inflation, while Wholesale Price Index provides insights into wholesale price changes and broader inflationary trends.